Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here with some comments on the heavyweight title fight, and I think it's going to be a good one, between the best, Vitali Klitschko, and the former light heavyweight champion and the former cruiserweight champion, Tomasz Adamek, who is unbeaten as a heavyweight. But before I go further, just remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk styles. Tomasz Adamek, when he was a light heavyweight, could work you from the inside out. Take a look at his fights against Paul Briggs. You're going to see these guys could have fought in a phone booth at times, right? Tomasz Adamek, deconstructionist, was able to literally get up on Paul Briggs, exchange shots, parry others. Those fights were shootouts. Well, he's left that style behind at the lighter weights. And understand that this is not like 126 to 130 to 135. Here, the light heavyweight limit's 175. When Adamek won the cruiserweight crown, he gained 25 pounds to do it, right? Cruiserweight's limit is 200, and he fought the best cruiserweight even today in the world, in my opinion, and that's Steve Cunningham. Now Adamek is trying to take on Vitali Klitschko, the man I believe is the best heavyweight. And as a heavyweight, Adamek has changed his style. Rather than try to beat you from the inside out, where he's up close and it's a shootout and he's taking punches and doling punches, now he tries to beat you from the outside in, right? He's a mover. His style, quite frankly, is very similar to Muhammad Ali's style, to George Groves' style, to Andre Durrell's style. Right? He's relying on foot speed and hand speed, jabs. He's going to jab you. He's going to move. Right? He's always on the move. This is a different style than a Jean-Pascal David Haye ambush style, where they're just standing outside. Right here, Ademek's going to be on the move, and he's going to try to keep shifting direction. He's going to try to keep the fight in the middle of the ring. He's in with a much bigger opponent with a very high knockout ratio. So he wants to avoid getting caught up on the ropes. He wants to avoid being up, in a corner, right? He wants to keep it in the middle of the ring. He wants to throw combinations, right? He wants to fight the kind of fight where he's hitting and running and never really getting hit by Vitali Klitschko's power. Now, we saw him outmaneuver in recent fights guys who are similar in height to Vitali Klitschko, right? Kevin McBride, similar in height to Vitali Klitschko. Michael Grant, similar in height to Vitali Klitschko. Here's the problem, and here's why I believe Vitali Klitschko wins this fight. Let me go further. The recommendation I'm giving in this fight is that you straddle the play, right? Vitali Klitschko to win the fight, straddle against, with a kicker, right? Of Vitali Klitschko by knockout, right? You want to have it set up where all Vitali has to do is win the fight, you get some profit. If he's able to get the knockout, then you're even better off. Then you're really balling at that point. So I don't see how Tomasz Adamek is going to be able to beat Vitali Klitschko from the outside in. I do believe that, like everyone else, Klitschko can be beaten. But I believe that the only way to beat Vitali Klitschko is from the inside out. Take a look at a fight that was lopsided on the judges' cards. But if you look at what the fighter was doing, he actually neutralized Vitali Klitschko a great deal, and that was Kevin the Kingpin Johnson. You're going to see that Kingpin, a righty, actually caught Vitali Klitschko's left jab with his right hand, right? This is different than Chris Bird, a lefty, catching the jab, right? Here you had a righty literally catching the jab with his dominant hand. Then when Vitali got him up on the ropes, Johnson was able to tuck his head and tuck his chin, so Vitali, with his dominant hand, his right hand, couldn't do much. And Klitschko, like Ali, doesn't go to the body that much. So once you neutralize him up top, he's vulnerable. Unfortunately, Kingpin just didn't have the offense to make the most of it. In other words, his dominant hand was tied up with Klitschko's jab, right? Klitschko's left jab. And of course, he was up on the ropes playing defense for most of that fight. Vitali won a wide decision. I believe that the kind of fighter to give Vitali problems would be someone like Adlanir Solis, who can get inside and can deconstruct you from the inside. I don't believe the heavyweight version of Tomasz Adamek, who's moving a lot more than he ever did at light heavyweight. I don't believe the heavyweight version of Tomasz Adamek can do that. I think what's going to happen is Adamek's going to start fast, then I believe he's going to get broken down. And understand, Vitali Klitschko is defensively gifted. It's a unique defense that's different than, Floyd Mayweather's defense or, Winky Wright's defense. This is a defense where rather than block punches here, Vitali Klitschko actually prefers to block punches up here around your bicep, right? He's blocking arms. As you watch him, you're going to see that he sticks his hands out. You rarely see him like this. Rarely, right? 90% of the time, guys are throwing shots, and he's a master at getting inside the shot and just knocking your arm away. And the problem is that makes him a very fast fighter, right? You don't need blistering hand speed to be a fast fighter. If you're able to block punches and then throw short punches, right? The time it takes for you to throw an 8 to 12 inch punch makes your hand speed much faster than someone who might be moving his arms faster but who's throwing 2 feet punches, right? Vitali Klitschko also is a master. He's dominant when he wants to be at cutting off the ring, right? You'll notice that not just Kingpin, but guys like Shannon Briggs literally just found themselves cornered by Vitali Klitschko. I mean, cornered by him. I think that Tomasz Adamek is probably going to be able to stay away from the ropes for the first 3 or 4 rounds, but after that, I'm expecting him to get cornered. Then I'm expecting Vitali Klitschko, who throws short punches and who doesn't miss a lot. Think about it. When is the last time you saw Vitali Klitschko throw a huge punch, miss by a mile, and then be thrown off balance? This is a guy who has tremendous balance at all times. I believe he's an all-time great. I think he's the best heavyweight since Lennox Lewis retired, right? I think when we talk about Vitali Klitschko, we have to talk about him with the Jack Johnsons, the Alis, the Joe Lewises, the best heavyweights in history. He's a natural fighter, very different than his brother, right? Vitali Klitschko has a very well-known trainer. You hardly ever hear about him because Vitali Klitschko doesn't really need instructions on how to fight. Not only that, he's fluid. He can handle guys who come at him with different styles, right? Chris Arreola tried to be aggressive with him. After he kept blocking Areola's arms, and after he went to town on Areola's face, Areola's corner threw in the towel. right? Vitali, statistically, is one of the best closers in heavyweight history. Now, what I want people to do is to take a look at the end of Ademek's fight against Michael Grant. And you're going to see that Adamek was so exhausted, right? His style is tiring. He was so exhausted. And keep in mind, Michael Grant is practically a potted plant in the ring, right? He doesn't move remotely as well as Vitali Klitschko does. He doesn't have the balance that Vitali Klitschko does. He doesn't have the defense that allows him to roll with punches, and Vitali's excellent rolling with punches, right? Just imagine Bernard Hopkins in the heavyweight division, right? He's able to keep his hands low, roll with punches, block what you're throwing, then after he has blocked the punch with the same hand, he's able to shift his weight and hit you in the face with that hand, right? I don't believe Tomasz Adamek is ready for this. I think he's going to be winded and exhausted in the later rounds. I'm expecting Vitali Klitschko to close the show, right? I think Klitschko more than likely gets the KO. I know Adamek has never been knocked out in his entire career. But understand, Adamek has never fought Vitali Klitschko in his entire career. And given that he's winded against Michael Grant, I don't think he's going to be able to withstand Vitali Klitschko. You know, the guys who recently have gone the distance with Klitschko have really absorbed a lot of punishment, right? Shannon Briggs, there were lawsuits after the Shannon Briggs fight because Shannon Briggs absorbed so much punishment, right? Briggs really should have quit in that fight. Kingpin Johnson had a level of defense that, quite frankly, I don't think the more popular Tomasz Adamek has, right? Sam Peter didn't make it to the distance against Vitali Klitschko. Let me point out, too, that when Klitschko wants, right, when he wants, if the other guy has slowed down and can't move, like Sam Peter, who's also a potted plant, Klitschko can jab you to death, and he's accurate with that jab. Take a look at that Vitali Klitschko-Sam Peter fight where he came out of retirement to beat the then reigning heavyweight champion. And keep in mind, too, he's so much better than Vladimir Klitschko. The first time Vladimir Klitschko fought Sam Peter knocked him down multiple times. When Vitali Klitschko fought Sam Peter, I don't think Sam Peter won a round. Peter got closer to Robert Helenius when they fought than he did Vitali Klitschko. No one uses length better than Vitali Klitschko. Chris Bird fought both Vladimir Klitschko and Vitali Klitschko. He believes that Vitali Klitschko is better. Monty Barrett believes that Vitali Klitschko is better. It's not the number of heavyweight titles that you have, it's what you do in the ring. And I know Vitali doesn't look like he's throwing hard punches. These punches are devastating. The power is in his legs. So I'm expecting Adamek to start fast. This is going to be a battle between the rabbit and the hare, right? Or rather the turtle and the, whatever the analogy. I expect Adamek to start fast. Then I'm expecting Klitschko to slowly cut off the ring, take the oxygen out of the ring. You'll notice if Adamek is in trouble, if his face starts getting marked up. That's a mark of a Vitali Klitschko opponent because Klitschko is a headhunter. He's not going to waste a lot of time trying to catch Adamek to the body. He's going to be trying to deal with Adamek at the chest and above. I don't think this fight goes a distance. To be safe, I'm straddling it. Klitschko to win, so I win some money regardless of whether he gets the knockout. Straddled against Klitschko by KO, I'm not putting any money on Adamek. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.